Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and you are welcome to this wonderful Shabbat. As I always said, every Shabbat is wonderful. Every Shabbat is great. Every Shabbat is a time for us to come to rejoice, to give glory to the Almighty God, and to do what? To refresh ourselves. You know, we are going to talk about why the reason why God is giving us this Shabbat this morning. You know, we are going to talk about the shmitta. We are going to talk about the yovel. We are going to talk about the blessing and the consequences of not listening to the Almighty God. People say, right, that in the Parshot Bechokotai, he said that that we have blessings and curses. You know, that it is a blessing and curses, but is there anything like a curse? I don't believe that. That is my own personal understanding. I don't believe there is a curse. There is nothing like that. It is the consequence of your action. That is what people term a curse. It is not a curse. God has given you what? God has given you an enlightenment. God has opened your eyes. God has told you before time, before it will come to pass, that if you do this and this and this and this, you are going to get a reward. And if you do this, you will face the consequence. So people say it's a curse. It is not a curse. God does not curse nobody. God is a God of love. That's what I want us to understand. God loves all his creation equally without no difference. But God, the God of our fathers, has told us before things come. He has foreseen what is going to come, and he has given us a warning. He has warned us that if we heed his voice, if we listen to his instruction, then everything will be okay, everything will be fine, everything will be robust, everything will be hunky-dory, everything will be fantastic with us. But if we disobey the commandment which we have taken upon ourselves, the yoke of the Torah that we have taken upon ourselves to be the light of the whole world, if we forsake it, and if we go and worship gods that we do not know, these are the consequences. Then people say it's a curse. How come it's a curse? It is not a curse. You face the consequence of your action, and that is it. So that is what God is saying this morning. That's the reason why God has given us the Shabbat. Man is not a robot. Man is not a robot. Man is a living being. Man is a living soul. And so therefore when you work and work and work and work all your life, you break down and you die early. Because in North America, you can see that there is this slang that they always say, time is money. Time is money. Time is money. Everybody boom, 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 boom. No rest, nothing. Even though in some places in the state, I was listening, or I was hearing or reading a particular paper there. They were saying that people are even afraid to take their legally earned vacation. This is what you legally earn. It is your vacation. People doesn't want to take it. They say, "Oh, I cannot afford to take my vacation." They work and work and work and work and die in their work. What type of life is that? That is the reason why God has given us a Shabbat. When you work for 6 days, the 7th day is for what? It's for you to relax and rewind. It's for you it's like a computer. When your computer work, you get to a state, it begins to slow down, it begins to mess around. Then they say reboot, right? You reboot the computer, and when you reboot the computer, it begins to work perfectly well again. This is what Shabbat is. Shabbat is a kind of a reboot for us individually and collectively. That's why God has given us this Shabbat. That we are not a robot. Even though cars, even though computers, these are robots, they break down. How much more you, who's a living soul? Right? God gave us this Shabbat for us to reboot every time. Right? To relax. Forget about all the problems. Forget about all the works. Let your mind be an open mind. Relax your mind. It's a family time. You, your wife, your children, relax and enjoy yourself. And then on Sunday, you start your work again. That one day is for the Lord. That one day it is for you to do what? To revive yourself again and your soul. Take time and to do what? To look. What have I achieved? What have I earned all throughout last week? Relax, and think over and over again, right? That is what God has given us, the purpose of the Shabbat. So therefore, this money, the parashot of this money is known as Behar and Bechokotai. Behar and Bechukotai. Behar meaning on the mountain, or at the mountain, or in the mountain. Alright? And Bechukotai meaning my statutes. My statutes, you can see, my statute, my regulations, my laws. The book of the Levites, the book of Leviticus, is one of the highest book where we have the highest commandment, where we have the largest mitzvot in our that our sages have said. In the entire book, or in the entire Torah, the book of the Levite has the highest status, the highest and the highest. So therefore, God gave us a lot of laws, a lot of mitzvot in the book of Leviticus, in the book of Vayikra, that we should follow. That this laws is for you. Remember, last week we were talking about what? About the ripple effect, right? The ripple effect. That when you drop a stone in the water, it expands. This is what God is doing. God gave man a Shabbat. The same time God gave animals the Shabbat. And now God is expanding this Shabbat onto what? Onto the land. That is what we are going to discuss about this morning. The Shabbat for the land. Remember that anything that works deserves rest. Anything that works deserves rest. The same thing, the land works for us every time. And so therefore, the land deserves its own rest. Because when you work the land and work and work and work and work, the land will die because it cannot regenerate every time. So 1 year is for the land to rest so that it can regenerate again, recuperate again, and can give you best yield. It is not like, it's not like now that everything that we see is about chemical. They pump chemical everywhere, there is cancer everywhere, people are dying like chicken everywhere. Right? God said there's a commandment that in the sweat of your what? Of your face you shall eat. God command Adam, go onto the land and till the ground. Did God say, go onto the land and pour chemical on the land? No. God said, go and till the ground. From there will be your what? Your food. But man is so wise. Man thinks, oh no, I am smarter than my God. I am smarter than the Creator. I have understanding and wisdom. I have knowledge. Okay, I'm going to create a chemicals, pesticide and insecticide. Then, why should I be tilling the ground? My back. No, I can't till the ground. I don't pour the chemical and the grass will die. Is that not foolishness? Is that not stupidity? You think that thing that can kill the grass will not kill you? That's the question. The grass is a living thing. And remember that grass, you share the same DNA with them. The grass, we have nearly 60-70% of our DNA is the same. So if this chemical can destroy and kill those grasses, you think it will not kill you, eh? You're just wasting your time. In the process of time, it will kill you. So, because from the ground, you put all your plants, you reap them, you eat them. Do you think that those chemicals does not go inside those fruits? They goes inside it. So therefore, you face the consequence of your actions. God said, till the ground. God did not say, go and pour chemicals on the land. So this is what we are going to discuss about this morning. And we are going to also talk about the year of Yovel. That is the 49 years. After the 49 years, there will be another year. 1 year, the 50th year, is called the year of Yovel. Yovel year, Jubilee year, where everybody will return. There will be freedom for everybody, and everybody will return into their land. Alright, that is the what? A short introduction to the parashot of this morning. And I title this morning a parashot, Heeding the Voice. To heed the voice. It is very, very important to listen to the voice. For God has spoken. God said, if you obey, this is the reward. This is the blessing. But if you disobey the agreement that we have, remember, this agreement was signed with blood on Mount Sinai. I was not there, you were in there, right? But our forefather agreed. And so therefore it passes for all generation to all generation until the world to come. until the Messiah will come. It never ends. The agreement is eternal agreement. It cannot be broken. So therefore, since we have agreed, since our forefather has agreed, you can say, oh, I wasn't there, so it doesn't concern me. No, it concerns you. Because the DNA of your forefather is the same DNA that you have. It passes down. So therefore, God is telling us that we should hear his voice. We should listen to his voice. And therefore, everything will be well with us. But if we disobey, then we face the consequence of our action. There is no cause. Nobody causes you. You causes yourself. The reading of these two sections of the Torah conclude the book of Vayikra. Today is the end of the book of Vayikra. So we're going to end the book of Vayikra today, and next week we go to the new book. We're going to go to the book of Numbers from next week. All right. So it concludes the book of Vayikra, and the book that contains most of the commandments given to the Hebrew people on Sinai for all eternity. One of the central commandments that appear in this week's reading is the shmitta, the rules regarding the sabbatical years that the Hebrew people were to observe when they enter into the land of Israel. This commandment, in many of its forms, remain value or remain viable today. While the second half of this week's reading, the Parshot Bechokotai, deals with the blessing for obedience and its 49 causes for disobedience, or I would say punishment, that you punish yourself. The Talmud teaches that God works middah-k'neged-middah. The Talmud teaches us that God's work middah-k'neged-middah, which means measure for measure. In Sanhedrin 90R, measure for measure. The Tochaha, a series of unimaginable causes that, with precise clarity, foretold the horror that were destined to befall our people in his wandering in the wilderness if they disobey the commandment of the living God. So, what am I trying to let us? What am I trying to explain here? In the first one, which is the Parshot Behar, we hear about the what? The shmitta. The shmitta is the 7 years, right? The shmitta is the 7 year where the land will rest. There will be no famine. There will be nothing for the land. You shall not plant anything. All the crops, all the things that fall on the land shall not be taken. It is for the retirement of the land, right? The leaves, to keep them, the fruit on the ground, the manure, the land rests and it revitalizes itself again so that it can give you a better yield. 6 years you shall work the land. 7th year you shall not work the land at all. You shall leave the land like that, and the 8th year is a new beginning. Then you can start again. And God said, if you obey, in the 6th year, I will make the land to reproduce double. I will make the land to reproduce double for you, so that in the year that you did not work at all, you can have more food to eat and to satisfy yourself. And he said, after that, we are going to count 7 times 7. We are going to do what? We are going to count 7 times 7. That will be 49. And in the 50th year, we shall proclaim jubilee for everybody. All slaves shall be set free. Every man shall return to his ancestral land. All the land that you have taken shall be returned back to the original owner. Look at the principle of the Torah. I want us to listen to it perfectly well. I want us to put our eyes and our mind to be open and see what the Torah is talking about. The Torah talks about that a man can only work for you for 49 years. The 50th year, the man shall be set free. The man, his wife, everything, his children shall go with him. He shall return back to his ancestral land. The land that you have taken, the land that you have removed from him, shall be returned to him back. Many people do ask a question. Why didn't God stop slavery? Why didn't God? Because the children of Israel were slaves in what? In Israel, in Egypt. And God took them out, right? of slavery. Because God knows that slavery is not good. Slavery is bad. So why did God continue this slavery? I mean, among the children of Israel. Why can't they just stop it right away and there will be no more slavery, no more slave, nobody? Everybody is free. But we need to understand what is going on here. I want to give us this understanding here that the Almighty God is teaching us a particular principle here. It's just the same example of God giving us the Mishkan. Rashi said that this Mishkan is to win Israel out of what? Out of idolatry. Is to win Israel as a mother win their child out from breast milk into a solid food. The same thing is happening here. That God is winning Israel out of what? Idolatry. To serve the true and the living God. The same thing God is doing here. God is doing what is we want to win Israel out of that mentality of slavery. Because remember, these people, they lived in Egypt and then they copy, all their intestine, all their mind is an Egyptian mentality. So the slavery cannot be stopped at once. So God is giving them gradual understanding. Okay, don't worry, you can continue to do this, but remember, on the 50th year, every man shall be set free. But in Egypt, once you are slave for what? Forever, no freedom. The treatment of slavery is like, they are not human beings. You bought them with your money, right? They are what? They are things. They are not living, right? They are just like, even a cow is more, it has more worth than a slave, right? It's my property, I can kill him, I can do whatever I want to do. So the Torah is giving us this understanding. The Torah is enlarged that no, you cannot do whatever you want to do against him. That won't work. No. Yes, you bought him with your money. Yes, he's your slave, but remember, he's a human being. That's what God is saying. He's a slave to you. Yes, you pay money and you bought him, but above all, it's my image, because he's made in the image of God. Right? And you cannot enslave the image of God forever. No. 49 years, he will work for you. He will do everything for you. On the 50th year, you let him go. You return him back to his ancestral land. And the land that you have taken away from him, you will return it back unto him. Because if they don't do that, then each tribe will be fighting against one another. Because of land. Oh, you take my land. This one take my land. This one take my land. Then there will be commotion and destruction. They will be killing one another because of property. So God is saying, no. If you take a land for 50 years, for 49 years, 50 years, you return that land back to the original owner. Because land is very, very valuable, is very important. Because there is your own what? Destiny that God has carved for you. This one is for Manasseh. This one is for Ephraim. This one is for Zebulun. This one is for the other tribes. One tribe cannot go and take another tribe's land. No. Everything is divided as God wants it to be divided. And so therefore, everyone respects everyone. There is respect. There is coordination. There is love. Yes, the man will work for you for 49 years. 50 years, you let him go. And that is one of the main reasons why God destroyed the first temple. The first temple was destroyed because of that. Because our people refused to set people free at the year of Jubilee. They forgot about it. They said, no. He will do my property, he will work until he died. They said, okay, the prophet came, prophesied, they let them go. The second day, they went and bring them back again. They brought back all their slaves and they begin to do whatever they want to do without obeying, without doing what? Obeying the commandment of the Lord our God. And they faced the consequence. They were enslaved in Babylon for those years that they did not keep the year of Jubilee. Listen to the tale of the African slavery, the Inquisition, the quality of the crusade. They reflect the Torah's same admonition of a wayward nation cast asunder from the land of its inheritance. It tells of the destruction of cities and the starvation of its citizens. And one of those causes is about running from our enemies. And you shall run the flight of one who flee from a sword. Yet no one is pursuing you. Leviticus chapter 26, verse 36. Simply explained, the Torah is telling us of the inherent fear that we shall have from the suffering that we have endured. We shall run at the slightest thought, even when there is no one that is pursuing. The Torah-based Israelite, one that keep the Torah, an Israelite, a Hebrew person that keep the Torah, is raised with the idea that getting good usually means we have done good, and getting bad usually means I have done bad. This is what God is saying. He's saying if we go back in history and look at the slavery, because in the book of the prophet Yeshayahu, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel said that in sheep I will carry you away from your land. I will take you to the land where you do not know, to the north. America is where? America is in the north. I will take you down to the north, and where you did not know, and there you will serve gods of others. They will punish you. They will crush your back with slavery. Then you will know that I am the Lord thy God. God has given us this instruction from the beginning. You can see the horror of slavery. There are a lot of books that you can read. How they took our forefathers from the land of Africa in sheep, right? And they load them like chicken, like turkey, like sardine. And anyone that cannot make it, as soon as you are sick, they throw you down for the shark. That is it. As soon as you are sick, because they don't want infection in the what? In the sheep. No infection. They take you, boom, bye bye. For the fish. So this is the pain. This is horror that we have seen, that a man can rise up against his fellow man and turn his fellow man into a slave. Because of the understanding that I am more superior, or because of the understanding that I have advanced technology over him, because he doesn't have the power of gun. He's still using arrow. He's still using trap. But I have a gun. I can use my gun to subdue him. I can use my weapon to subdue his will. That is what is happening. And we can see also the Spanish Inquisition also, where people say, I refuse to do what? To believe in a religion. I refuse to convert into another religion. I have my faith, the faith of my forefathers, the faith of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And the people say, no. You must be a Christian. If you are not a Christian, I kill you. In the name of a God that they know not. They begin to slaughter them like chicken. This is the pain of slavery. Because of the pain of disobedience. Because God has God has foretold, God has told us before time that if you keep all these rules and this arrangement that we make, if you keep them, then everything will be hunky-dory, everything will be fine, everything will be good. But if you go and worship other God, if you forsake me, these are the consequences. And we face the consequence of our actions. Hestapanim, which means that God hides his face, right, from us, does not mean that the rule changes. As Rashi explained, it just means that we will be able to see how the measure we received was in response to the measure that we did. But the Talmud says God is not a veteran, meaning that he never usually ignores the thing that we do wrong or right. If he does, that person is in a worse shape than the one getting punished. We can see in the book of Leviticus chapter 26 verse 36. He said, you will flee from your enemies. You will run, and when you look back, no one pursues you. There is a particular saying in among the English people. They said, they say a sinner run when no man pursue, right? A sinner run when no man pursue. This is what is going on. That is actually from the Torah. A sinner will run when no man is pursuing. Why is he running? Because he's guilty. A thief thinks everybody is a thief, right? You see a thief trusts nobody because he's a thief. Because he thinks that what he got in the wrong, true wrong, that another person will come and take it away from him. Because he's a thief. A thief trusts nobody. A thief thinks everybody else is a thief. That is the problem. And God is telling us in this parasha of this morning that you will run from your enemy, you will flee. And when nobody is pursuing you, absolutely, because you are guilty. The guilty man flee. The guilty man run because he or she is guilty. And this is what God is saying, that if we do well, everything will be fine. If a child, for example, the parent comes, okay, my son, my daughter, do this, I'm going out. When I come back, I want to do this and this and this and this, right? And the parent comes back. If the child runs to go and meet the parent, knows he has done right. He has done exactly everything that the parent said. Oh, mama, you see, I did this, I did that, papa, I did everything. And you say, la 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 la, okay, oh, very good. But when the parent come and the child run to go and hide, no, he has done or she has done something wrong, because in his mind, in her mind, he or she is guilty. Because he did not obey what the papa or the mama said. He did not do exactly what the papa and the mama has commanded him or her to do. Because he's afraid that he's going to get punished. Even though without the mama or the papa even saying so, he's guilty or she's guilty in his or her mind. So this is what is going on. So when God is telling us, is giving us the understanding that we should be careful, we should look at our ways, we should reason our actions. Your action is the most important. I always tell people, watch your action. Think 5 times, think 200 times before you make a step. That doesn't mean that you are slow. People think, oh, he's slow. No, you are not slow because you are what? You are cautious. You know, in the construction industry, there is a particular popular saying in the construction industry. There's a popular saying. He said what? Measure 3 times and cut once. Measure 3 times and cut once. Because if you do guru, you cut. And what if that cut is not at the same size of the wood? You are going to be wasting wood. You are going to be wasting money. All those things will go to be a waste. So you measure 3 times, meaning that you have to be sure that this is the size. That millimeter by millimeter, this is the right size. You measure again, you confirm and reconfirm that this is it exactly, then you cut once. You don't just measure once and cut like that. What if that is not the size? Then you are going to use, instead of to use $1,000 to build a house, you are going to use $10,000 because most of it is going to be a waste. That is what God is saying. That we have to think very, very deep. We have to think about our actions. Our action is the most important. The way we reason, because if you reason wrong, your action will be wrong. If you reason right, your action will be right. And when we disobey, the Torah said the land will spill out, just as the way is spill out those who live there before us. Remember, the land belonged to who? To the Canaanite. The land was the land of Canaan, right? Not the land of Israel, but the land of Canaan originally. But the Canaanites were disobeying God. The Canaanites were doing evil in the sight of God. The Canaanites, even though they were giants, they were big, they were offering their children unto their gods. The abominable, homosexualism, barbarism. That is what was going on there. No laws. Men meeting with animals. Animal meeting with men. Evil things that cannot even be heard. You can't even listen to it. This is what was going on. And God said, enough is enough. This land is a gate to who? land is the gate to the Garden of Eden. At the back in Jerusalem, when you go open your spiritual eyes and you can see, Jerusalem leads to the Garden of Eden. That is the center of creation. In the spiritual realm, at the back of it, that is the Garden of Eden. It's a door, it's a porthole, it's a hole that leads to the Garden of Eden. So why the land that God has prepared, why with a man that has given up pollute the land? You say, oh, I didn't pollute the land, I'm just doing my own business. No, your action is polluting the land. You are shedding innocent blood on the land, and the land is angry. The land will spill you out. And this is exactly what happened. And the land spilled out our forefathers because of their disobedience unto God. When they have been forewarned, they have been foretold hundreds of years ago. Why are we human beings still remain the same? Even though up to now, we men will never change. Alright, and this will give us a kind of, I'll quickly say a kind of example, very quick example here about a king in the land of Israel in the history. His name is Hezekiah Hamelech, King Hezekiah. When it was foretold by prophecy that his son will turn the nation into what? Into idolatry. Hezekiah the king said, oh no, I don't want, I'm not going to do what? To give back. The prophet told him that, listen, this is what God said, that your son will lead the nation into idolatry. He said, oh, if that is the case, I'm not going to have children because I don't want my children to lead the nation into idolatry. Hezekiah was like a Messiah. He destroyed all the high places. He consumed them. He removed all the idols. Right? In the kingdom of Judah. He was doing what is right. The Torah says he was doing what is right in the sight of God. He was doing everything neat and good. He rebuilt most things. Most of the fallen towns, cities. He rebuilt gates. There was good. There was righteousness in his days. Right? But the prophecy told him, your son shall lead the nation back into idolatry. He said, okay, if that is the case, I'm not going to have a son. I'm not going to have any child. Then he thought he's smart. He said, in the normal eyes, if we are looking at it, you say, oh, this man is strong, eh? He's doing the will of God. He's doing what is right. But that is not the will of God, because there is a commandment that you shall reproduce. That is a mikvah. You shall reproduce. God will not change. It is man that changed. The Holy One, blessed be He, will not change, and His word will not be changed. His word is eternal, and He stands firm on His word. Okay, who is right? Who is right? We're talking about last week and 2 weeks ago about perspective. Who is right now? God is saying, you shall have children. And this man is saying, okay, because I know that my children will lead the kingdom into idolatry. Yeah, I better not have children at all. In the human understanding, oh, he's doing fine. But in the eyes of God, he's doing wrong. It's not right. Then the prophet came. The prophet Isaiah came unto him. This is what the Lord God said. You are disobeying me because your root will be cut off. Your root will be cut off because this is the root of David, Hamelech. Your root will be cut off. If you think that you are smart, you want to second guess God. You can do that. You cannot second guess God. You have to do exactly what God said. Everything is what is in the hand of God. He was born. He said, okay. He went and do what? And get married. Right? And he have child. And his son that he had took the nation back into idolatry as it was prophesied. So you need to understand that when God speaks, his word will come to pass. Because he said the king wants to do what he wants to prevent the word of God from coming to pass. And when God speaks, his word stands and his word will surely come to pass. His son Manasseh that he had took the people back into idolatry. And so therefore God is telling us we have to be very careful. The blessing and the curses teaches us that God take note of take note of and care about what we do. So we should as well. But by no means do they open a clear view of God's restrictions. The only clear thing we can count on with complete faith is that everything that God does is good. Parshot 61b. Not because we believe blindly, but because God made a point of telling us, and that He showed us that this is true and this is a fact. If you go to Devarim chapter 4 verse 35, Devarim chapter 4 verse 35, I'm going to read it quickly. You have been shown in order to know that Adonai, He is God, there is none beside Him. You've been shown, you've been warned, you've been foretold, so that you will know when it comes to pass that the Lord, He is God, and there is none beside Him, no equal. Many people, they go and go to the dead to go and seek the future, to go and see what is going to happen tomorrow. But God said, you don't need that. I am the Lord, I am the God. I will show you whatever you want to know. That's why I'm giving you Kohen Gadol. The Kohen Gadol will tell you what I want you to know. Right? And when I tell you, remember, before it comes to pass, not come and say, oh God, sorry, I don't know. No, you know. What you don't know, God can never punish you because of that. It's not possible. It has never happened. God punish you, or you punish yourself and say, I'm sorry, God does not punish anybody. You punish yourself because you disobey what God said don't do. Or you did not follow the path of the Torah when God has written and God has spoken, God has told you everything before it happens. But you harden your heart like Pharaoh. And when it happens, you cry a foul. It's too late. But remember, God is merciful. God is just. He said, if you do teshuvah, if you repent, if you do teshuvah and you return back to me, I will return back unto you. He said, remember, I will take you out unto your land, to the land that you do not know, but I will not make an end of you. No. Because the nations will laugh at you. But they're not laughing at you, but they're laughing at me. They're laughing at God. And God will never allow His name to be what? To be ashamed. He said, I will fish you out from those lands. I will trap you out like a man that traps an animal. I will trap you out of that land. And I will bring you back into your land. So that you may know that I am the Lord who has redeemed you. So all these things that we are experiencing, all this pain, all this trial at this moment, remember, we have been foretold. All the diaspora of Israel that have been scattered. Because many people say, oh, if the Jews, right, follow God 100%, then the Messiah will come. That is a pure lie. I stand here and I'm telling you, that is a pure lie. If all the Jews follow the Torah, if we do all the Jews in the world, if we do follow all the Torah and we do exactly what God said in one day, the second day the Messiah will come, that is a total lie. As the Torah never speak anything like that. It's a rabbinical lie that are telling their people, deceiving them. The Messiah will only come according to what the Torah said when the stick of Judah and the stick of Ephraim combines together and be one. That is when the Messiah will come. Because God does not say the Jews. No, the Jews were not taken out of Egypt. Israel was taken out of Egypt. It's not all Israel that are Jews. No, not all Israelites are Jews. As the people, as some of these, I can tell them racist. I'm telling it openly. Most of these people are racists who are living in the land of Israel now. Pure racist. God said Israel. God never said Jew. There is no way there is nowhere in the Torah that Moses come and said Jew. No. He said, tell the children of Israel. God said, command, tell the children of Israel. He never said, come, command, tell the children of the Jews. No. That is a rabbinical lies. Trying to deceive people that to say that Israel is a Jew. That is a lie. Israel is Israel, not a Jew. Jews are part of Israel. Not all Israelites are Jews. And not about all Jews are Israelites. All Jews are Israelites, but not all Israelites are Jews. Because we have Ephraim, we have Manasseh, we have all the 12 tribes. Where are they? Until all they return. God said, the stick of Ephraim, which is in the northern kingdom, and the northern kingdom, we know where they are. Most of them are in the west and in the south and the east Africa. We know that. That is pure and clear. When they left, when they were taking slavery, most of them returned back into Africa, and we know that. And that is clear. And that is a fact. Until when the stick of Ephraim and the stick of Judah prophesied by Yeshayahu and by Ezekiel combined together and be one, then the Messiah will come. So we should wake up from our slumber. We should wake up and tell the truth to the whole world and let the world know that Israel has to be one. I fight, I cry, I call upon God for Israel. All Jews are Israelites, but not all Israelites are Jews. There is a reason why God made us 12. If he wants to make us one, he can make us one. He can make us say all of you are Jews, but that is wrong. We are not all Jews. We have Ephraim, and we have to respect that. We have Manasseh, we have to respect that. We have Zebulun, we have to respect that. We have Dan, we have to respect that. We have Gad, we have to respect that. He said, in their differences is their strength. Our father, Jacob, blessed us differently. He knows the reason why he gives us different blessings. And he said, all of you combine all these blessings, you will become, no nation can stand against you. No nation can overcome you. If you combine together as one, these differences is a blessing. It's not a curse. It's a mighty blessing that when we unite it together and do exactly what our forefather Jacob said, no nations can stand before us, as Moshe, the servant of God, has proclaimed. And that is a fact. See, no nation will be able to stand before you if you keep the Torah of your God. If we keep it and we obey it and we do exactly the way it is said, no nation under the sun, no matter how powerful that nation is, will ever stand before Israel. Before God is for Israel. And Israel is the son of God, the firstborn of God. And God will not reject his first son. That is a fact, and that is the truth. So what I'm saying this morning is that we should remember, if we human beings can act according to what the Torah said, if we human beings can begin to understand the basic understanding of the Torah, not taking our fellow brother as slave forever, that it is my property, I bought it with my money, I can do whatever I want to do. Right? I can oppress him, I can kill him, I can shoot him. It doesn't matter, I don't care. It's my property. Right? I can hang him on the tree and make him naked and let people laugh at him. It's the image of God. You shall not do that to the image of God. It will be respect. Even though it's your servant, he will work for you for 49 years. In the 50th year, you let him go free. Free. With his family, with his wife. If he come with his wife, come with his children, free. But if that man said, now he will not go, if that man said, I love my master, I love everybody, I don't want to go free, then you take him to the Kohen, to the gate, and they put a hole in his head, and he will serve his master forever. That's what God said. So in this case, there will no, we can see that there is no force. Why did God say so? Because now this man has a choice. He has a choice between total freedom and he has a choice to become a slave forever. So he chose. But in the land of Egypt, there was no choice. You are not given a choice. You either do the work. If you don't, they kill you. But God said no. There must be a choice. There's always a choice. God has always given us a choice. 50 years, he let him go. And if he said no, I don't want to go. I want to serve my master for the rest of my life. You take him to the city, you put a hole in his head, he serve you forever. That is it. The man has, at least that man, that slave has a choice. either to go free or not. The same thing, the Torah. Life or death, choose one. There's always a choice. God always gives us a choice from the beginning. You choose. But when you choose, don't come and say God is punishing you. God never punishes you. God doesn't have your time. Doesn't punish you. You are facing the consequence of your own action. You are facing the consequence of your own action. Don't say God is punishing you. No. You punish yourself. God is telling us this morning, we shall do the year of Jubilee, the year of freedom. The year of freedom. The year that we are going to blow the shofar. Right? On the Yom Kippur, you shall let everybody go free. Everybody shall pronounce freedom unto the land. The land that you have taken by force, you return it back. Right? The one that says, oh, this is my own, I'm not giving. No. Give back to the original owner. So that because that is on that land, they can reproduce and make for them their own children. Give to their own children. But when you take everybody's land, come on, that is injustice. Right? So God is telling us this morning, how can we apply this in our life? In our present day life? I say, you know what, the law does not concern me. Yes, I understand. There's a lot of, like, these weak laws only applies in the land of Israel. Only in the land of Israel. But listen, we can also apply it in our own land. We can also copy it. Because it is very good. You cannot poison the land and think that you will live. It's not possible. Remember that you were taken out of what? Of the soil. Your physical life is taken from this earth. You are part of it. You cannot say, you know what? No, I can poison the whole land, and me, I will live. You are deceiving yourself, because your food will not come from heaven. There is no manna. Manna has ended 4,000 years ago. No manna, my friend. So all the people that produce food, all the people that produce our food, this is a message for them too. Stop poisoning the land. God said, go and till the land. Yes, we have technology. We can use other means, but we don't have to use chemical every time to destroy and to break everything to pieces. And we say, I want to eat and not die. You are wasting your time. Because the poison that you poison will surely enter into your food, enter into your water, and you poison yourself. Everything goes round. Right? Everything that you think, what goes round comes round. That is it. You can't say the plant will die and you will live. The life of the plant and your life is the same. No different. You just have intelligence more than the plant. That's the only difference. You see, you pump hormone into the cow. You say, oh, the cow, I don't want the cow to be sick. You put hormone, right? And you feed the milk of the cow to your children. And the children, a child that is 2 years old, look like a child of 10 years old. Because the hormone just made the child to become obese. Because it's hormone. I want everything to grow fast. You put hormone in the chicken. You think that the hormone, when you cook it, it won't enter into your own system? You are wasting your time, my friend. So this is what God is saying. Let it grow naturally, the way it is. God said, I will bless you. Don't worry yourself. Why do you worry yourself? Just follow the Torah. I will bless you. In the 6th year, I will make the food to be abundant everywhere. So that on the 7th year, you will have enough to eat until you start again. Don't worry. But our own problem is because we are still, we want now. Everything is fast food. Fast. It's left for man to decide. God has given instruction. God has given us the path of life, the path of truth, the path of justice, the Torah, that we should follow what is right. But if we say, no, I don't want, you decide. But in the last day, don't blame nobody, for we will face the consequence of our actions. And when we listen to the voice, when we heed the voice of God, the blessing is ours. The peace is ours. The glory is ours. Everything will become hunky-dory. Only if we heed the voice of the Almighty. Parshot Behar Bechokotai. Shabbat Shalom.